Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Grayson the Dean 221 Nichols, and I'm here on the Elite Rounders YouTube channel doing a little bit of a bonus video. As a few of you know, every week we've been following along with the newest episodes on Poker Go of High Stakes Poker this season, as well as the Poker After Dark. Those come out every Tuesday and Thursday morning, but it's Saturday over here in Florida, and I've been telling you guys I wanted to do this bonus video of Tom Dwan against Phil Ivey for a while, so finally got around to doing it. I just finished rewatching the hand. It is still just as amazing as I remember. It's a nice little trip down memory lane. Let's hop right into the hand. This is what I think is one of the best hands that I've ever seen on high stakes poker, so I'm excited to go over this hand with you guys. Hopefully a few of you haven't seen the hand before. For those who have, I'm kind of excited just to chat it over with you guys, and go ahead and feel free and drop a message in the comments about what you thought of this hand, because there's a lot of different things that go on here. So let's just jump right into it. We got a classic high stakes poker episode, 400, 800 game going on. A lot of the usual suspects. We got Daniel Negreanu, Tom Durr, Dwan, Phil Locke, Elliot Lesra, and Phil Ivey, to name a few. Again, 400, 800, no straddle in this hand. And the action starts off with Phil Locke raising to 3,900. And he gets called by Ellie with ace-7 of clubs, Ivy on the button with ace-6 of diamonds, and Negreanu decides to come along as well in the small blind with jack-3 of clubs. Everything seems pretty standard up to this point, and the action gets to Dwan in the big blind. And sure enough, Mr. Durr goes ahead and squeezes to just under 29,000. He makes it 28.9, and Locke folds, Ellie folds, and Ivy, having the button, monster deep stacks between him and Durr, both having just under $1 million in front of them, decides to call and speculate with his ace-6 suited. And Daniel, of course, folds his junk. So the flop comes out king, queen, 10, 2 diamonds. Pretty close to a Yahtzee flop for Mr. Ivey, right? Tom has absolutely nothing here but a gut shot. And let's also comment too, if you look at this board and you view 8-9 as a valid gut shot, that is a mistake, right? Because if a jack hits here and you make your gut shot, you lose to a naked ace. There's diamonds out there. Like it's not a legitimate draw, right? So be careful that if you have just the bottom end of the straight draw, especially when it would be a 4-card straight on the board, I have no interest in drawing at those. For all intents and purposes, Durr's got absolutely nothing right now. Nothing but heart, basically, right? Nothing but heart. A lot of heart for sure. So we know Ivy's going to be calling. Durr starts the action by betting 45,000 here, to which obviously Phil is going to call in position with a nut flush draw and a gut shot straight draw. The turn is a nothing card. Again, doesn't change anything at all for either of them, right? And Tom goes ahead and barrels again, 125,000 this time. So yeah, this is interesting, and I get where he's going. Now, this is where he really puts the clamps down and he's telling a story, right? So let me, take a step back for a second. Something I've mentioned in some of the old videos that a few of you might be familiar with. When you want to make an effective bluff, right, there are two things you need to do. 1, rep a credible range. 2, know what you're trying to make your opponent fold, right? So let's look at what Tom could credibly rep here, right? We know he's going to be firing away, right? But even up until this point, let's take a look. So he squeezes pre-flop to 30,000 pre-flop. Well, his value range is going to look something like maybe 9s plus, ace queen, ace jack plus in that spot, perhaps. So once we get to this board and he's barreled twice, we certainly know hands like 9s aren't in there anymore. Ace queen probably wouldn't be in there. Hell, even ace king is kind of a strange spot and probably one of the worst hands that Tom would bet around 125,000 for value here. I think mainly what he's repping is a strong dose of king, 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 queen, 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 10, 10, 10. Right? Like he is definitely really repping all of those hands pretty strongly, right? And the idea is that he knows Ivy could have a number of hands. He thinks Ivy could have something like, ace queen, ace 10 suited, jack 10, queen jack. There's a number of things that Phil can have, obviously, and the diamonds as well. So Tom knows there's some fragility to Phil's range and that he can make him fold hands because, again, he's targeting a portion of Phil's range. And he knows that Phil, for one, is capped. And what I mean by that is that Phil cannot have pocket aces, cannot have pocket kings, cannot have pocket queens, based on the line he has taken pre-flop so far, right? So that allows Tom to attack on boards like this. So far makes sense. I dig it. It's ballsy, especially with no equity, but it makes sense. So here we go. Let's obviously Phil is thinking kind of along the lines of what we are. He knows Tom's capable, but he also knows Tom can have several value hands that are really strong. Like we said, set of 10, set of queens, set of kings, ace jack for the nuts, aces, ace king, a lot of strong hands, right? So Phil definitely has some good implied odds here to call with his hand. And what I mean by implied odds, basically the gist of that is, it means the better chance that if you hit, you are going to get paid off, right? So if you and your opponent are both deep, better implied odds. If you're against multiple people, better implied odds, etc., right? So Phil goes in, calls here, and the river brings an offsuit 6. Phil misses but hits a pair, and Mr. Tom Dwan, ladies and gentlemen, loads up the gun and fires $250,000 with 9 high. Absolutely nothing here. Well, this is where it gets fun too, because immediately Phil, you can see the urgency in Phil Ivey's face. And Phil Ivey is a man who never seems urgent. He is like the coolest, calmest, player. Just like I played with him. I've actually been lucky to play against him a couple times in World Series events. I played against him in a 3K buy-in horse event, and then I played against him in one other mixed game. I haven't played Hold'em with him. I was going to say unfortunately, but that might be fortunately, actually. And he's always so calm, right? But at this moment, he immediately goes, how much is that? How much does he have left, right? And then you see Phil like fidgeting and like really thinking, and he is so zoned in and thinking about making this call. And I get it, because it's a spot where Tom's repping very little at this point. Like we were talking about that value range before. Now, the way as Tom has played it, I barely think ace king is out there, right? Like that seems even thin for ace king. So to me, his value range is basically a set of 10s, set of queens, set of kings, ace jack, and maybe ace king. And then king queen obviously is out there too. That all probably would make sense. And then maybe he could have some stuff like queen 10 that he was like semi-bluffing pre-flop. So like there are some hands he can rep here, right? But he also knows Tom's crazy, and Tom can have something like a 7-8, 8-9 that has a total nothing here, right? He can have a number of things. So Phil really gives this thought for a while. And it's funny, there's a moment when he goes, wait till y'all see what I was thinking of calling with here. And then Negreanu goes, oh, I know. I bet I know. And Phil's like, no, you don't know. And there's no way Daniel could have possibly fathomed what Phil was thinking of calling with here. But Ivey mulls it over for about 5 minutes or so, and he decides to let it go, unfortunately. Another funny moment, I'd recommend checking the hand, give it a little Google and search it. Ellie Alezra falls asleep during the hand too, which is kind of funny that even, people playing for $1 million pots isn't enough to keep Ellie interested, right? So yeah, Phil finds the fold here after contemplating for several minutes, and Tom Dwan scoops in almost $700,000 pot with 9 high on a pure bluff in what has to be one of the coolest hands, greatest hands in high stakes poker history. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Go ahead and write in the comments what you think about the hand, if you think Ivey should have called there, or if you think Ivey's crazy for considering it. Really love watching these two battle. I'm going to dig into some of the old episodes and see if I can find some more cool hands of these two brilliant players duking it out to share with you guys. So hope y'all enjoyed that. Definitely check out, again, the Elite Rounders YouTube channel every Tuesday and Thursday morning to catch the new video from the newest Poker Go episodes. Good luck this weekend, guys. Take it easy.